Today is Sunday, September 14th, 2014. Welcome to E39 Source. Today we're looking at my 2002 330xi. It's been almost 2 months with the car. I figured it was time to make an update. I said I was going to keep pretty up to date with this and keep you guys detailed with the process here. So I bought this as a winter car, as most of you probably know. My 2000 M5 likes to sit pretty and clean in the garage. I just can't talk it out into going out in the snow anymore. So we have this. Obviously the XI means it's four-wheel drive, and you probably saw the intro, so we won't go into too much details and specifics on the car. I will say now that it has broken 215,000 miles as of a couple of days ago, so I haven't put too many miles on it since I got it. Only about not even 1,000 since I bought the car. I think it was at 214. But I just spent 5 hours or so going over this car with wax. I had never waxed it before, and it needs something. I'm not going to be meticulous with this car and keep it spotless, because that would be stupid for a winter car, but I do want to take care of it and give it the respect it deserves, being a BMW. So it's been buffed once and now waxed once since I've had it. I went over, for those of you who know Zano products, with Z6 after I washed the car today. Then a coat of ZAIO, Zano All-in-One, which seems to have done a beautiful job. It feels incredible and it looks great in shade. If we go over to the sun side of the car, we'll see still some swirls and plenty of little dings and little paint bubbles and scratches like that, which you may or may not see, but I'm not worrying about it due to the fact, again, that this is a winter vehicle. So I've done quite a few little things since I got the car, a couple bigger things. Many things I made a video about, but one of the first things I did, brakes, new front rotors. I had a vibration, so new front rotors, got rid of that. Rear brakes, I did not the rotors, I did the parking brake shoes and all of the hardware in there. So the parking brake now works beautifully. So we fixed the parking brake, gotten rid of a vibration. All of the pads on the car have at least 75% life left, so I'm not going to be touching those. Wiper motor I had to replace. There's a video on that. My wiper motor was totally screwed up, so it's got a nice new wiper motor in there, as well as new wiper blades. I replaced the windshield cowl, and I had to replace the windshield. Yes, there was a chip in it. When I was working on this, I put a little crack in it, which grew overnight. I wasn't too worried. I had a huge chip in it before. So it's a Pilkington glass, not the OEM, but the original supplier. Rain sensor does still work, so that's a pro. So nice new windshield. Signal light bulbs, I replaced those. Front grills, I replaced those day one. Front hood badge, replaced day one. License plate, delete. Still need to replace that fog light. I'm looking for a cheap one on eBay, and none have come up yet, so I haven't done that. Tires, I think they're all Tiger Paws, or some of them are Tiger Paws, and there's something else, Uniroyal, something on here. I don't know, they're not great tires. They're 205 50 R17s. That one's a ZR17. This is the new one back here. It's a Pegasus. I've never heard of a Pegasus tire, so it can't be that great. But being a winter car, I plan on either putting Blizzak WS80s or whatever that Continental something winter, extreme winter contact, or whatever they call their tire. So it's between those two. You guys let me know which you would recommend for this. Come spring, I'll probably put these back on. I won't be driving it too much throughout the spring and summer. But for winter, I definitely want to go with a snow tire and four-wheel drive and a manual. I'm going to be unstoppable. I can't wait. Wheels are clean. Rotors are a little rusty because I just washed the car. So I think that's almost it for the exterior. A couple bulbs in the rear, license plate frame. The whole car's gotten a pretty good cleaning. There is an issue with this one. It's got bubbles in it. I don't care. But this, I replaced both lenses. This license plate light works. This one doesn't. The contacts are messed up in there, and apparently I cannot replace just the socket. You have to buy this whole thing and then have it painted, and I don't feel like doing that. So if anybody knows of an alternate solution for that, please let me know. Features that we've added. We've added garage home link. It was pre-wired for home link, so I've added the garage door opener up here. Totally factory, so that was nice. Also added an alarm system. So if I take the key out, come outside. Oh, my back's killing me from working today. Now we have lights that flash, and we have a beep, and the actual alarm system functions. So that's cool. Also had Bobby from E39 Source do some nerd programming for me using, I think, NCS. So all of you guys, if you press and hold your unlock button your windows go down. And yes, all of my windows work. But not many of you, unfortunately, are able to put your windows up with the key too, and that's a US thing. Stupid regulation. If you leave your kids or your dog in the car, they didn't want you accidentally putting the windows up and killing them. I don't know why. But it can be programmed, so I did have that programmed from Bobby. Also, the automatic windows will continue to work if your door is open. So that was a nice feature he coded. While he was in there, he also activated the alarm and a couple other smaller features. Lock on driveway, stuff like that. I've added floor mats. The black rubber BMW mats are a little bit dirty right now, but all four seats have nice rubber winter floor mats. We've replaced both the front door sills and this part, driver's side too, but not the back seats. All of these seals were good, like really good, so they must have been replaced very soon before I bought the car. So that was a nice find. Interior trim, I've done a couple things just because I will be spending time in here and I want it to be a nice place to be. We've replaced this little cubby, so nice fresh plastic doors, ZHP knob, black leather boot, cup holders, this piece here, the entire plastic center console, and the rear little storage tray. This stuff is so cheap on the E46. Also added auxiliary, which is cool. My radio in this car was not the one that it came with. It's like a 07 radio or an 06 radio. No pixel problems. I don't even think E46 has had that, but I was able to wire factory auxiliary and possibly Sirius to come. I'll have to look into that and see how much time I'll be spending in here, but we'll see. Added a Valentine hardwire. That was like day one, so that was nice to get that in there. Future upgrades. I don't like this steering wheel. It's too big, it's too thin. I don't like the crotch, and it has absolutely no side bolsters. I would love to have the same steering wheel that my M5 has in here, the facelifted E39 M5 wheel. However, that's incredibly expensive and I can't find a good deal on one. The good news is I could reuse my airbag, so I would only need the wheel. So I'll probably find one someday or just splurge on it and maybe sell that one and do that in the future, because I really don't like that wheel. Trying to think of what else I've done. Really just thorough cleaning, and if you saw my reflection, I'm wearing my ridiculous car working Hawaiian shirt. I replaced this little thing here day one just to keep rust out of there. I haven't even bothered painting it because I don't really care. I have no plans to do any body work to this car unless something major should happen, but I don't even want to think about that. We'll look in the trunk. Oh, there's another thing. My latch back here doesn't work, although it sounds like it's trying to. Oh, it does now. Well, it wasn't working for a while, but apparently now it does. I've tried to clean the carpets back here. They don't come perfectly clean, but they're not too scuzzy. I've cleaned these storage trays. Added the tilt sensor for the alarm back here. I do have split folds and I do have Harman Kardon. This car really was completely loaded aside from the tech package, which would have added the navigation system, but it has everything else. No PDC, but Xenons it does have heated seats and all that. I've also replaced these pieces of side mirror glass as well. As far as mechanicals go, we talked about brakes. I did do the sway bar end links. Other than that, I have no rattles, no noises over bumps in this car. It kind of handles like a boat, but I think any 3 Series, except an M3, would in comparison to what I'm used to. I'm used to an M5, and M3 would probably be very similar, and just the standard 3 or standard 5s just are way looser by design. So I think that's what I feel with that. Under the hood, I've just detailed, I've done an oil change, I did filters and some fluids. I have not done a coolant flush or a brake fluid flush. I'm not concerned about either. Honestly, I don't plan on keeping this car that long. So that's where we stand with that. I'm going to run inside, check my spreadsheet, make sure I'm not missing anything, but that's what's gone on with the 330 so far. Getting a little bit more picky, I do have all the vapor barriers in the doors now. I've taken care to add those and seal those properly. I don't want any more rust coming out on this car. There's very little as is, but I'd like to keep it that way. And I had to replace the brake pad wear sensor. For some reason that got messed up. The pads are fine, the sensor just failed. It was probably been reused now for a while. So if I should put a seatbelt on here and close my door and turn off the parking brake, there are 0 warning lights on this car, which I like. When I got it, there were a couple minor bulb warnings. Never seen a check engine light. I even pulled the codes through a peak using OBD2 and I found nothing. So, I mean, future changes, I mentioned the steering wheel. If I can find what I can talk myself into being a good deal on that, I probably will. Sometimes I notice this tweeter up here clicks a little bit if I get the right frequency or maybe the wrong frequency going to it, and I don't like that, so I might look into buying a used one on eBay for cheap and we'll do a DIY. This seatbelt tensioner here, apparently this is common for E46s. Why? Why is that a problem area? And also this B-pillar. If I can find a cheap one of those, I'd buy one, but they're not cheap, so I'm probably not buying one. It doesn't really bother me, I don't see it. But this does bother me, that it's that slow to pick up the seatbelt. So if you take your seatbelt off, I read on forums people were throwing the buckle into the glass, and obviously that creates problems. So let me know why that tensioner sucks. And I'm also missing the sunshade here, the slider. It's just not there. So I don't know why it isn't there, but it isn't. So I might look into adding that, really just to shut things up. Driving on the highway, it's a little noisier with no shade there, and while raining, it's noisy. But the wipers work beautifully now. I've replaced a couple missing clips and screws out under the hood, stuff like that. I mean, there's always a little bit more cleaning that can be done. This is a 215,000 mile car with a tan interior. I really wish it were black or a black gray interior. I'm not a huge fan of the tan, but it was a good price for a nice car, even with these things. So that B-pillar's clean, and then that C-pillar back there has a little bit of the material hanging off, but that one's fine. One more perspective update or improvement I would kind of like to do would be halos. I think that would be kind of cool to do, but I don't want to make it look aftermarket at all. I would want a really clean halo solution to this that wouldn't throw any bulb warnings. So I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I don't really want to spend much money and replace stuff. Like, that's loose, these are stone chip, they work great, they're xenons, they level fine. So I'm not worried about that, but I do think it would be cool to have halos instead of the stupid amber side markers. So please let me know if there's any solutions to that. I would also love to have eagle eyes or European spec taillights, but I would not love to spend that price, and that's something I will never get back selling the car. So I don't think I can justify the cost, and I don't really plan on keeping it. So probably won't do that, but I do much prefer the look. Might as well take a peek and a listen under the hood. That's an M54 B30 with 215-089. And this car is not quick at all. I attribute some of that to the four-wheel drive system and a front differential transfer case, and I attribute the rest of that to the mileage. I may do spark plugs or simple general maintenance like that, fluid changes and plugs and O2 sensors, mass airflow meter, stuff like that, just to do it if I can find the parts affordably. I'm not going to go crazy on it. If I were to get another 20 horsepower, I don't care. This car is going to pull its way through snow very well, and it's not like embarrassingly slow or anything. So here's what things look like. I replaced that, no leaks on the oil cap, and it gets up to temperature pretty quickly and stays there for as long as I've ever driven it. So that's good news. Alright guys, that's going to be it for the fall update to my E46 330xi. Stay tuned for the winter. Maybe we'll do a review on how an XI does in snow, and please leave those comments about the snow tires. I'm kind of debating that from Tire Rack, which ones to go with for that. But everything else should be pretty solid and reliable through winter. I doubt I'll put more than 3,000 or 4,000 miles on it, although I do like the idea that I now have a car I don't really care about miles with, that gets good gas mileage, that I can throw 4 people in and take a road trip. So we may have a couple weekend trips throughout the winter. But ultimately, really glad I bought this car, and it's really gonna save the M5 from a lot of hell. So leave those comments and I'll let you know if I do anything else fun or have any problems in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.